Hey everybody, what's going on? Hopefully the microphone is working this time around.
Yeah, everything's probably good.
I mean, yeah, it says it is.
Alright. We are getting ready to go to the club.
I mean, in a couple hours.
In a couple hours, yeah. CB's like, I hope this one's long. This is going to be a couple hours.
Yeah. We got to leave about 9:30. I don't think it opens till 10, actually.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I think I'm going to have to stop and get gas, though. I'm not sure. Yeah, but Jen's fucking looking great. She's got this little mini skirt on, like one of my favorite pair of fucking nylons. Her stockings are fucking great. Her booty hanging out the bottom of it. Looking cute. She's looking cute. She's going to wear these damn goth sandals, probably. Sandal boots. I'm
Maybe
sure. She doesn't have her boots on yet.
Well, no, it's because I like to sit cross-legged, and I can't sit cross-legged with shoes on.
She's probably going to wear these. She's probably going to wear those.
Maybe. Or, shit, I didn't even look at this necklace. Is all fucked up. I didn't even look at it.
Let me fix it.
Ugh. No, you have to take it off to fix it.
I'd either wear the goth sandals or the damn demonias.
Yeah, this is all because I was rushing like to put it on.
She's mad at me.
Yeah, I'm mad at you.
She's mad at me
because I had a whole outfit and he fucked it all up. Like
I didn't fuck it up.
Like 2 minutes before the show. That doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So then I had to like fucking do everything like 5 minutes, and I was rushing.
It's summer anyway. You can't. She's overdressed. Put too much stuff on. It's summertime. It's hot as fuck out there.
It's like sheer, that thing. It's not hot.
Doesn't matter. You know, the girls are going to be down there half dressed tonight.
Gramthars said it's still raining there. It actually didn't really, I don't think it rained too much today. You know? I don't remember.
I stayed in all day.
I don't remember it raining.
Stayed in all day.
I didn't hear any rain. Yeah, I thought you were going to go for a ride. You didn't go.
Yeah, just said fuck it. Said fuck it. I fucking fell asleep again.
Why? Whoops. Why is that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I don't know what time you got up this morning.
I don't know.
But it was kind of late. I thought it was kind of late.
Yeah.
CB said it looked like a dominatrix.
Who said that?
CB.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
Phantom said, did you guys get affected by the Florida flooding that's been happening in the news? We didn't. I think it was mostly, because Jeff Yart was in here talking about it, I think that was mostly South Florida. So we're more like Central Florida. So South Florida is kind of like 4 or 5 hours from here. So we didn't really have, like I said, yesterday I think it was a little bit cloudy and maybe rained for a little bit, but not anything. So there's that. But yeah, so
yeah,
what's everybody doing?
Gotta get the show started. We're
sitting here drinking.
It is a Friday night, and that is the last work night for most people before the weekend. So we're gonna sit here and have a few drinks with y'all, and we're gonna escort you out to the fucking weekend. You know, like a couple of escorts, paid hoes. We're gonna fucking walk you to the back door and get the fuck out.
Tom wants me to be a paid hoe so bad. He's trying to pimp me out. That's all
hilarious.
He does is talk about other people being pimped out. Like it's like that's the best idea ever.
No, it's not
I'm like,
true.
Are you suggesting something?
No.
You think I should be going out?
No, I've been doing research lately.
Yeah, doing research,
Yeah.
and you know, like so I can go out and do it. Is that what
No,
you're?
of course not. Of course not. She's fucking no.
You talk about it a lot.
No, I think it's fucking fascinating. I think it's fascinating. I was actually fucking listening to a interview on YouTube about gigoloing, and they had a gigolo on there. His name was Tom. He was in his 30s, and he was just talking about how he did it. You know, it's a totally different thing than the female angle.
Well, yeah.
All his clients are married women, pretty much. He's got so many of them, he can't take them all because there's no such thing as like just a 1 hour short visit. They're not into that. They want at least 24 hours. Most of them want like 3 or 4 days.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes are all just like, oh, I want to bang him
Yeah.
and leave him and never see him again.
Yeah.
But, like,
That's the
women,
whole advantage
they
of
want
it.
like a whole relationship
Yeah,
experience.
that's the thing he says. He says it's a lot harder because dudes cannot fake attraction. So he can only take ones he's attracted to.
Yeah.
And he actually has relationships with them. That's why. So he can't take that many of them. So he's constantly vetting them about how many, vacations is she going to take me on a year? You know what I mean? How if she's on, that kind of shit, because he's got competition of other girls.
Man, that's like
other
sounds
clients
like a problem you want to
trying to buy him away. And he says it's about sex, but that women cannot get sexual enjoyment out of a dude that doesn't love them.
Well, I could have told you that.
Basically. So he kind of does love them. That's weird. But, and the better looking they are, the more he gets out of them. And the more, in terms of money, because he loves them more. But they fight over him. And they're married. They're married. The women are married. None of them are single. And it's just a fucking totally different.
So their husbands are losers, or they don't care, or what?
Both. Both.
Yeah, I guess that could be
Both.
That could be both things.
Yeah. He didn't get into it too much. He didn't talk about the husbands that much. He said that was one of his biggest fears, is to be tracked down by a husband and killed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a legit fear.
Yeah. He says he's not afraid of women. Not in that way. He's just afraid of the women compromising him.
Yeah.
And then
like I said,
shows up.
Most of the time. I mean, we did do a show this Wednesday about a completely insane woman, so they are out there.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like most of the time, you're a lot safer. Gramthars says, how's the Streammate thing going? We haven't done it in a while, and I've actually heard that it's slowed way down, because we know someone else that does it.
Pussy Market's flooded.
Yeah, but we definitely want to get into doing more video content.
Yeah.
Especially now that we got the doll.
The thing is that Jen's other businesses are going so well that she really doesn't have time. Her, she's got a graphic design client that has fucking basically promoted her twice in a period of about a week. Gave her raises twice in a week. She's not even full time, but she's making thousands. Yeah, thousands a month now out of this client. So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And shit like that is a lot more steady and a lot more stable than, say, like, entertainment, sex entertainment. That's kind of, there's an ebb and flow to that. If you look at those girls that are just fucking grinding, just constantly putting shit out, right now they're not, unless they're big names, they're barely making it, most of them, because there's just so many of them. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the market's flooded. So unless you have like a super, super specific niche,
yeah,
it's hard to stand out.
Or some kind of fan base.
Yeah.
That helps too. But the dating market evidently is dead too. Like, people aren't dating. And a lot of it I just think is the economy, and there's just a general malaise in society when it comes to relationships, especially Gen Z. They're not real happy with their relationships right now.
Well, hello there says, I'm just waiting for some rich old lady to come along and make me a kept man.
Well, they weren't old women that this guy was living with. They were young, because the old ones don't have the sex drive.
Yeah, they're like I don't give a shit anymore.
They were young. They're mostly women in their 30s and 40s. They're married to a lot of times much older dudes, all right, that have a lot of money. So they're actually taking his money and giving it to another man. That's basically what they're doing. So she's paying him with her husband's money. And
I mean, does the husband know about it?
No.
Oh.
No, not
well,
usually.
That's kind of shitty.
Well, that's what happens when you have these hotties marrying up to these rich dudes that are dweebs. She's a fucking physically, she's like a 8.5, and she married a dude in IT who's about like physically, he's like a 5. She loves him, but she's just not real hot on him. And they've been together for a few years, and maybe there's a kid involved, maybe not. And she just wants to have this constant fling on the back burner. And it's a lot of it is, according to this dude, is like social work. Sitting there listening to all her complaints about this dude.
Well, yeah, because she doesn't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what...
I get it.
So she comes over and fucking he listens to her and fucking commiserates with her and hears all her problems and then fucks the shit out of her. And he says it's rough. He says that's what they like.
Well, yeah,
They
that's...
like real fucking rough stuff.
Yeah.
And fantasy setups. And because the husband's not doing that. Or he's not really the kind of guy who can get away with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? A dude that he's well built dude. You know what I mean? He's not as jacked as I am, but he's lean and he's a good looking guy, and tall. But he kind of has that leading man kind of look. And I imagine that motherfucker's hung. I didn't check. I don't think he had any videos out there.
You know you want to look.
I was curious. But he said he was big. Made me think he was about 8, 7.5, 8 right now. Probably. Maybe bigger. I don't know. It's hard to say. But the women aren't really into that. That's not the main thing. Although they respect that. It's mostly what he was talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that they like him. You know, they have a huge crush on him. And, you know, they know that he can only handle like 5 or 6 of them at a time. He doesn't have a shit ton of clients. He's got like 5 or 6. That's it.
Do they get jealous of one another?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
yeah, they want to know who the other one is and which one it is.
I could see that.
Yep.
See, I don't think I could be... If I was single, I don't think I'd be down with that.
Well, he says his main thing, though, is honesty. He tells them. He doesn't tell them their real names.
Yeah.
He gives each one of them code names for the other ones.
Code names.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't tell them their real name. He says, you know the one I'm talking about? You know, the nurse?
Yeah.
That kind of shit. Yeah, this is what she's doing. Or whatever, you know. The millionaire girlfriend was
Here's
what
one
she
of the
was.
redhead with the tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they try to pry details about the other ones out, and he doesn't tell them anything.
Right, yeah.
Because
confidentiality.
Yeah. And then, like, he only gives them enough. He only gave them enough to kind of keep him on the hook, to let him know that there's competition. But if he says anything about them, then that's going to make her wonder if he's telling the other ones what she's like.
Right, yeah. Well, see, that's why that's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's like, I understand, being a woman myself, that, you know, you're paying this dude, and he's I guess he's not pretending to like you, if he does actually like you.
He does like
that.
Yeah.
But you know that that's his job, and like that he has so I would be bothered by it too, and I would also be like really curious. But then on the other hand, I'd be like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want him to tell me all this shit about those ladies, because then he's going to be telling them shit about me too, and I don't know if I like that.
No, he just tells them about how much time they spent and where they went. Where they went, how much time he was, and who, you know, like, where are you going? No, I gotta see the other girl. I gotta see what's her name.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Where are you going? Well, she's taking me to, you know,
to wherever.
To the mountains.
Oh.
I'll be back in 5 days.
Oh. Okay.
Are you gonna be available? That kind of thing. You know what I mean? He does that kind of shit.
Right. So he's got to like schedule all this.
Yeah, he's scheduling them and juggling them, and then they'll try to compete. Well, if she's gonna take you there, then I'll take you over here. And he goes, okay, yeah, that sounds good. You know, that kind of stuff.
That's what I thought. I was just kind of like, it's like, hey, if that bitch is doing that, I'm out.
Right.
It's something even better.
Yeah, they're competing. They're competing over him with their husband's money.
Right.
That's some wild shit. But it's not as wild as you think, because Japan's filled with that. That's the same thing a host club is all about. Those girls are basically pampering these fucking effeminate looking dudes and buying them super expensive drinks, sometimes sleeping with them. And those girls, this guy's in a competition between the other hosts, and he's got to make a certain amount. They're showing how much money he made from contributors that week. He's got to make a certain by the end of the week to get a #1 score or whatever. It's almost like a game show. Well, some of them girls love this dude so much that they'll go out and turn tricks to get money to give it to him. And she's not even a prostitute.
Well, I mean, she wasn't before.
Wasn't before.
But now she is.
Turned herself out to give him the $4,000 so he could make it in time. That kind of shit. So he could win the competition. And she doesn't get anything out of it. other than just admiration. But the Japanese are strange, if you ask me.
Everybody's strange in
That
their
would
own
never
way.
work here. I mean, but I guess the relationship situation is so bad in Japan that they have professional friends, and a lot of those girls need to pay some man to talk to them and to give them attention, even though they're good-looking women. But they only want it from certain guys. They don't want attention from random dudes. They want attention from these hosts. They're like little celebrities.
Phantom saying code name Lucy Goosey.
Yeah.
We all know where her problem is. Also, code name Tom Hung. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from China.
Yeah. That could be you if you were like into kung fu.
Yeah, Tom Hung Lo.
Oh my god.
That's old shit.
Yeah, that sounds like something my dad would
Third
say.
grade.
Thank you very much. Gadgy has given us a super chat. Jen, hot as always. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going out later.
Yeah.
So I got my horns on and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
High Desert said, hi, all on board. What should I do tonight? Maybe I'll go to the casino. Casino's more fun than the clubs around here. I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like I would lose all my money. Well, if I had any money, then I would lose it. Which I don't. But, you know.
No, but I thought that shit would. I thought that dude's video was fascinating. Where it's so much of a different game with men. Because I was thinking, how could you just sell dick? Women wouldn't buy it.
No, of course
That's not what they're. That's not what they're after.
No, of course not.
It's a paid boyfriend who's silent that she can keep on the back burner.
Who actually even kind of pretends to listen to your problems and.
Well, he listens.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Well, he chooses them.
Yeah.
He says he gets offers all the time. He's got like a way to contact him through. It's probably like it's probably something like Trist. And he says he's got go. Most of them just immediately he eliminates most of them just by the photos. You know, he only takes the ones that are like the very best ones that he's attracted to. And then he's real honest with him. You look great. I don't know you yet. If I get to know you, maybe we could work something out. And he'll if she's cute, he'll go out with her for free.
Right. Just to test the waters.
Yeah, to see what she's like.
Yeah, because that's gonna be essentially like a relationship, even though it's transactional.
Right.
So yeah, you have to be.
Mm-hmm. He says it's a bigger investment of time and it's far fewer clients, and it's more like psychology and it's relationships.
I mean, we've talked about that a lot. It's just kind of why do you think like women buy erotica instead of porn? You know what I mean? It's a completely different.
Yeah, they have to have all the surrounding and the trappings and
stuff. Well, it's a
so
whole context issue.
Yeah, it's about context. You can't just get down to it. Dude will just show up and get done. You don't know who you are. He'll fucking get over in about 10 minutes and then leave and pay you for it.
Yeah, and be like, okay, and he'll probably like never think about you.
Yeah, just out of his mind.
But yeah, so like women don't work that way.
No.
In general, I mean, so I have known women that just like they're like, I'm horny. I'm just gonna go bang that dude, and then they never call him or whatever. But that does happen, but it's rarer. It's harder for a woman to like get real into having sex with somebody that they don't at least like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's almost a gigolo is not really a prostitute. In Japan, he would more be like a host. He's having sex with her because he wants to have sex with her.
That's not like a job requirement. She's not paying for that.
She's not paying for that. She's gonna get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just paying to compete for his time with the other ones. Basically. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She's got to steal him away from the other ones.
Yeah.
And she's got to fucking lure him away with money.
Got another super chat from High Desert. Thank you very much. Says, here's $2.99. I would have just blown at on the slots.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We got a super chat from Jeffy Art also.
Thank you, Jeffy. What's up?
Thanks to Shout Channel having 24/7 kaiju movies streaming. Yeah. I'm starting to find Japanese guys hot. Though I'm sure some think the kaiju are also hot. I mean, yeah, there's something out there for everybody, for sure. Bet there's a subreddit somewhere for that.
Jeffy Art starting to think dudes are hot. Japanese dudes are hot.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Jeffy was gay.
Yeah.
Okay. I tracked so many of them. They were streaming, man. Our channel was bi as shit.
I liked that though. Like I said.
Yeah. Attracting all them dudes.
I told you that like the nicest dudes were the British bisexual dudes.
Yeah.
They were always super polite.
Yeah, what's funny is when I was starting streaming, I was like, man, this shit here, I'm gonna be like a fucking second wheel, or like a third wheel, or fifth wheel.
A second wheel. You kind of need like, at least, unless it's a unicycle.
Yeah. I was gonna be like the fifth wheel, fucking. You know what I mean? Jen's gonna be getting, fucking dudes are gonna be telling me to scram and get lost. No, fucking. As a couple, we were pulling nothing but fucking bi guys mostly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. Bi fitness guys. And half of them would turn on the camera, maybe more than half would pay to turn their camera on so we could see them. And they were sharp looking dudes. They weren't scumbags at all. Young guys, fit. And fucking, they were just in another country. I guess England is, the dating scene there kind of sucks. And some of them were doing this shit at work. They're at work in their office.
Yeah.
Watching the show, beating down. Like, I got the door closed. That kind of shit,
I was like,
nice. Really at work? We're like, okay, all right. What do you want? She goes, no, just put on a good show, guys. Put on a good show. Okay, I'll put on a good show.
I'm in the office. I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, me and Jen be doing shit. I'm talking sporty to that motherfucker too. I'm talking real sporty too. And fucking, it was good.
It was fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm kind of thinking more about like doing videos now, especially since we have that doll that you spent all that money on.
Video is a lot easier to do because you have total control over it, and you can edit it.
Yeah.
And you have and there's no surprises in video because you know what you're going to do. When it's a live performance, you never can't tell what the next act is going to be. Somebody shows up and that motherfucker
they could say all kind of weird shit.
Might ask me to beat her up type of deal, which we've done that. It's just I don't know how to make it sound like
it's like more often than you would think. Like a lot of people wanted that.
Yeah. Slapping the piss out of her.
Like smacking me around and
without pulling the blows.
Choking me with the dick and stuff like that. But yeah, he's not gonna hurt me for real, obviously. But...
Just like wrestling. Pro wrestling. She's fucking acting up on it.
Oh shit.
Had one dude wanted nothing but just her sitting on my face and just humiliating me.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on my face, rubbing it. She's got the camera and fucking, and I'm down there going, like,
that was super funny. I was cracking up. I was trying not to laugh because I thought that would ruin it, but it's like it was just so funny.
I was laughing.
Like the situation was just so absurd, and I because it's kind of hard to do that like while you're trying to like hold the camera and get like a good angle, and I'm having to like look up here to see what it looks like, and
it's called queening.
Shit like that. But it was like
sitting on her throne and shit.
Super funny.
It was funny.
It was.
I don't give a fuck. I just laugh at everything.
Yeah, I mean, somebody paid you to do that on my face too. Like you to like teabag my face.
Yeah.
Which
we did was all kinds of little things that we did.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that.
Some of the shit I swear that it was a gag, but I don't care that they're paying.
Yeah, I mean, if they're paying, I'll do whatever. I mean, within reason, I'm not going to do anything. Come on now.
He had us do some role playing stuff about fucking being a princess and a fucking. It was lame as shit, but he fucking paid though. He paid a lot of money for that. It was funny.
That was really hard because it's like I'm not good at just
doing acting and shit.
No, I'm not good at that.
And I couldn't believe that this dude was beaten down to this. Maybe he wasn't though. He might have just been having fun.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I'm just gonna pay these people to like humiliate themselves.
Yeah, just stupid fucking shit.
Do some bad improv.
Yeah.
Murder Hornet said, Tom, have you done it with the doll yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a threesome with the doll. Try to check it out. Where is the doll? I should have brought the doll.
Yeah, I mean, you can go get her if you want to.
You have to put her in a chair back there.
Well, you can put her in a chair if you want. I mean, we needed to try her out, right?
Yeah.
So.
It's not as good as a real thing.
Yeah, but I was kind of curious to know like what it was like.
It's just a fun sex toy.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, how was it? He said it's not as good as the real thing.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't know because I don't have a dick, but you know what I mean?
Let me go get her.
But it is fun to play with, though. Although, like I said, I think maybe it's been a couple of times. Like sometimes I'll carry her into the fucking room. Because she's actually in the living room. Because I didn't even know this about, you spend like all this money on these because like for a really good sex doll, it's really expensive. I think she was like $1,300, $1,400, something like that. And what they don't tell you is that there's a lot of maintenance involved. Like the ones that are made of TPE, like she is, they do this thing called outgassing, like for the first 6 months, like it's a chemical process. And so her skin is like kind of sticky, which is bad because, we have cats and obviously she gets like cat hair all over and stuff like that. So we try to like keep her on the couch in the living room, like with blankets over her. And another thing too is that you can't put clothes on her that are like, that have any kind of colored dye on there because it will absolutely transfer like onto her skin.
Yeah,
so you have to put
black and red.
Yeah, you have to put like, so we have to keep like white clothes on her. And you have to clean her with, what did we figure out worked the best? We went all these forums and was like,
clean her with baby oil, and then wipe it all off until she's dry, and then you cover her with talc.
So she's not sticky.
Not baby powder, talc. It's more expensive.
Yeah, because baby powder, I didn't even know this, but that also has cornstarch in it.
Yeah.
Although some people said you could use cornstarch also, but I don't really know how well that works.
I'll show you what she looks like.
Everybody's going to get seasick. High Desert said, does she have a unique smell?
No.
Not really. I didn't really notice her smelling any, like chemically or, like, anything like that. Yeah, I imagine a strong rubber smell, like a new tire.
No, she doesn't smell like rubber.
She's not made of rubber, though. She's made of, like, it's called TPE. Which is, what does that stand for? Like some kind of plastic something? Or silicone?
It's very flesh-like.
Yeah. Or something like that. So, yeah, she doesn't really smell like anything. Other than, like, the powder that you put on her.
She's got cute little feet.
I have a pair of shoes almost exactly like that. I can't walk in those fuckers either. That's the better pink wig that we got. I need to try that on, actually. I forgot I was in there earlier, like, looking for clothes for the club, and I had totally forgotten that you got those other 2 wigs, like the black one with the braids, like Wednesday. I used to have one like that, but it got all fucked up. And you got one that looks like it's like that silver or gray or something, and they're not even out of the package. I was like, well, shit, I should try those on too, but I never got around to it.
She doesn't look as good on camera as she looks in person.
In real life, yeah.
In real life, she looks pretty real.
Yeah, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Like if you just walked upstairs at our house and was like, "Hey, who the fuck is that?"
She's got glass eyes that look like real human eyes.
And she came with an extra set.
Yeah.
There's blue ones and green ones.
Blue and green, yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Wee. Okay. There we go. Yeah, Murder Hornet said that's top shelf prostitution prices when I said how much it costs. Well, like I said, you can get cheaper ones, but you kind of get what you pay for, evidently.
Someone says use Armor All on her. Yeah, I mean, that might work too. I haven't heard Armor All mentioned, but I put baby oil on her. Just everything just kind of slid off of her. All the little there was like black lint all over. It came off.
Because, like I said, she's kind of sticky.
Yeah, and then she's not anymore. Feel her now.
Well, I can't reach back there.
You have to get up out of your chair.
Well, I don't want to do that. I'm all comfortable. Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
That there was a special powder made for dolls, and it's a type of talc.
Yeah, that's right. So we got some of that.
Yeah.
Phantom said, "Where's Pookie been? She hasn't made an appearance in forever. She's around here someplace. I just saw her earlier. I was walking down the hall, and she came running down from the opposite end of the hall, like running at me like she wanted to tell me something. And she's just like, hey. And I was just like, what? And she's like, I don't know. I just wanted you to pet me, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. That would make a decent movie prop. It would, yeah. It would.
Yeah, I've seen it done in other videos. If the lighting's correct, the camera angle's right, it's sexy. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I
lesbian
said,
acts going on with it there.
Yeah, we have seen some of the other ones on.
Yeah.
David says, so this live stream was recommended by YouTube. Is this a thing about sex dolls? I thought it was a channel about horror.
No.
We do horror, true crime, paranormal shit. We do all kind of stuff. But the Sidetrack show on Friday night is just our free-for-all drink and talk about whatever people in the chat want to talk about. So that's what it is.
Yeah, this is just open lines.
Yeah. Monday night we do movie reviews. Wednesday night we do main show, which is usually true crime. Like Wednesday night we did a show about that crazy Taylorish businesswoman.
Yeah.
But yeah. CB said, "Is it a bastard to keep clean?" She is kind of, but like I said, it's because if as long as she's not sticky, it's not too bad. But like I said, we have cats, so it's like there's cat hair everywhere, and so she'll get cat hair and lint, and my hair gets all over everything.
If you put baby powder on them, the powder itself is not pure, and stuff it discolors over time, and there's something in that baby powder that's kind of like lint, and it starts to ball up and get these little black spots everywhere. Just don't use baby powder, even though they say you can. Use talc. It's a lot more expensive, but it's better.
Yeah, Dave said, I just clicked the video and first thing I saw was a sex doll. It was just unexpected as all.
No, we were talking
Sorry. Yeah, and Friday nights usually devolves into smut.
Yeah, talking about clubs. We're getting ready to go to the club.
Just because.
Yeah, if you don't know the show, Jen's a horror writer and does all kinds of other stuff. Graphic design. I'm a retired U.S. Army guy. I'm 101st Airborne Division. I was a security contractor for a while. I'm fucking ranch hand, horse trainer, and animal trainer. And we live in Florida. We're in this nice big old house that I got. And we also do erotic entertainment sometimes. We'll live stream on StreamMate, do videos.
Yeah.
We haven't sold a whole lot. Mostly it's just regulars from the show that hiring us to do stuff. We've made some private stuff for people.
So that's
if the price is right, we'll do it.
That's why we got her, because we needed like some new shit for some of our videos, and we had been like talking about getting one of those for a long time. Mm-hmm. So we Tom kind of saved up.
Well, what it was is one of the things is my ex-girlfriend also does it. She wanted to work with Jen, and she was like, "Yeah, I'd work with Jen to do like girl scene." The thing is to do that right, man. It costs a lot of money, and you want to do testing, and you got to get people's on record. And I introduced my ex-girlfriend to her husband, and he's a friend of mine, but I know how he is. They're fucking swingers. He's gonna want to come and get on this and say, "Hey, look, you take Aleta. Let me take Jen, and we'll take him for a spin.
Well,
you stay over down." He's gonna do that.
You know that's gonna happen.
He's gonna say, "I'm not gonna go anywhere with her. I'm just gonna go over here on the other side of the room."
And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
We'll keep the girls next to each other. They can, drink and talk to each other while we fuck them. It's gonna be shit.
It's gonna be shit.
That's totally normal for him.
Well, yeah.
Totally normal for both of them.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
So we're like, well, instead of getting involved in all that, and or hiring some girl from the local porn industry that I got connections in, let's just do this. This doll fetish. There's a whole fetish for that.
Because you don't have to hire, you don't have to pay the person. I mean, she was expensive.
Yeah.
Because we wanted a good one. But you don't need, because I don't know if you know, but like we've said it to all the regulars on the show, doing streaming or videos or something like that in adult entertainment, it's a huge fucking rigmarole because they really, really, really want to make sure that everyone is consenting and everyone is over 18. So you have to like take pictures with your ID, and it's like this whole process, and it takes forever. And so it's like anytime that you want another person in your videos, it's this whole thing that you have to do, and it's a pain.
And if you're hiring outside talent like some other performers, they're going to want tests done, STD tests.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So let's just start. And the thing is, we probably would never see a return on that investment.
Yeah,
because you have to sell in fucking
right. That's what I mean.
Enough numbers, all right. We don't have the following. So simulated stuff or doll fetish would be probably more profitable because they got dudes that actually just want to see it.
Yeah, there's whole
doll. They're into the doll.
Yeah, there's a whole fetish for
There's
that.
a thing for that.
So
I'm like, well, that's the easy way out. And then if we don't like the doll, we could just use it as a decoration anyway. And she's pretty. We just keep her around. She's
laying on the couch.
Laying on the couch all day. Yeah.
Like a
I'll
bum.
change whatever outfit she's wearing. She's got her own little outfit.
Yeah, she's got her own little clothes and everything, and her own shoes. Tommy bought her own little shoes because her feet are small, a little bit smaller.
Yeah, she's a size 5. So.
Yeah, and I'm like a 6.5 or a 7, so yeah, that's not gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
So new guy. New guy. David says, so we can talk about whatever?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is legitimately true. We had a patient at the hospital today who had a butt plug in for their MRI. Okay. Apparently this is a thing that happens often enough. There's a form for it. Like, he left it in there, like, because he, like, got off on the fact that he was getting an MRI, and he's like, I'm going to have a butt plug in?
I don't know.
Because that's actually kind of funny. Or he forgot it was in there. I don't know how you could forget it was in there, but maybe.
I've seen some wild X-rays. There was this old channel called Gore Gallery back in the 90s.
I remember that shit.
Gore Gallery, and one of the ones was just this X-rays of things in people's body. And one of them, a dude had a damn die-cast metal toy truck up in his ass. About a foot-long truck.
I can't really imagine the kind of situation.
He said he fell down.
That's what they all say.
He fell down and landed on. Yeah,
my sister used to do billing for a GI clinic, and she's like, you would be...
I fell down.
I was walking. She's like, maybe you wouldn't be surprised.
It all starts off with, I was walking.
Yeah. Minding my own business.
I was walking, and that trip.
And all of a sudden... I don't know how this, like, fucking Model Hess truck got all the way... up in my ass. I have no idea how that could have happened.
I don't know how that shit happened. Dude, I was walking.
Well, no, I
was walking and I tripped. And
one real one that I heard, and this is even better than just walking and tripped, was that they were up on a ladder painting a room and fell off the ladder and somehow something went up in their booty. I don't remember what it was that went up there.
Yeah.
But was it a can or a bottle or something? I don't remember what it was.
It could have been anything.
But it's just... And I'm sure that, like, if you go to the fucking hospital with some crammed up your ass, I'm sure every doctor and nurse in there, they're like, I don't know how it got up in there. They're like, sure, okay.
So how did this get...
And they're just going to pretend, they're just going to play along because it's like, okay, we know you're embarrassed. It's like, you know what I mean? I would hate that. And it's and like I said, this might be TMI. I never got anything stuck up in my ass, thankfully. But
not accidentally.
No, but I mean, I never got anything stuck up in my ass that I had to go to the hospital and couldn't get it out.
Yeah.
However, one time, and like I said, maybe this is TMI, but it is Sidetrack show, so it's all right. You know those little, it's not a vibrating egg, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
One time, we had one of those.
You talking about me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
We had one of those, and it's kind of in there, and it's got like a ring pull on it, so it's
it had a little
in theory it's not supposed to be able to get stuck up in there. But Tom got the bright idea to also go in there while that was in there too.
Yeah.
And at first I was just kind of okay, whatever, fine. And then like afterward, like I couldn't get it.
Yeah, I got it out.
It was like way the. I did. Didn't you have to go get a spoon?
I got a spoon. Put a spoon in there.
I was freaking
wasn't in
out.
Your ass, though.
No, that wasn't up in my
ass. That was just
ass.
in the cooch,
Yeah, but I was just kind of like, oh man, if I have to go to the fucking emergency room,
I know it wasn't gonna go
to get this fucking, and it was still on, like it was still, and I was just kind of like, is this?
Shit happens, man.
It does.
I lost track of it. I said, oh, fuck it. I'll jump on. I'm riding the wheels off of. And afterwards, I says, I'll get it out of there. I couldn't reach it. She couldn't reach it. And I said, I get it. I got it out of there.
And look, it's like, you know,
don't panic. You could stand up and jump up and down, and it probably would have come out.
I don't know. It didn't seem like it. Because it seemed like, well, it got turned around, so I couldn't reach the ring pull, and I was just like, oh, fuck.
I can't believe
we're
talking about this shit. We talk about wild shit anyway. On Fridays, we talk about wild shit.
Well, that's why
everybody shows up.
That's why this is my favorite show of the week.
Yeah.
All the shows are fun to do, but this is my favorite one to do.
Yeah, this isn't about a topic in particular.
Sound like it's a contest to see how quickly we can
any
get
questions,
demonetized.
anything you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about a certain kind of movie? We can get into that. Any kind of paranormal case, any kind of true crime case, serial killers, whatever. Do you want me to make you another drink?
Yeah, might as well. It's only 8 o'clock. We still got an hour and a half before we gotta go. Well, about an hour and a half before we gotta go. Club don't open until 10, so we don't have to leave till about 9:30. CB said, my friend fucks living dolls and is straight, but the living dolls are guys. I mean, okay. Okay. It's fine. Oh yeah, so David's talking about the butt plug. Butt plugs have a metal center. Yeah, I have a couple different ones. I have one that's like all metal. Most of them I have like those ones that are like metal with like a jewel on them. And he thought it was silicone with no metal. A previous case referred to it as an anal railgun. Oh shit. I mean, yeah. Earl said food is also a popular topic. Yeah, it either degenerates into porn or food. I feel, or cats. That happens also. Because someone was asking about Pookie before. Pookie's one of our cats. We have another one named Bambi, and we have another one named Beijing. Pookie shows up on the show sometimes, but she's not in here right now.
There you go.
Ooh, thank you very much. I thought we were almost out of rum, but I guess we got enough for... Phantom says, a Wednesday show about multiple different cases involving subjects waking up at the morgue when pronounced dead would make a decent show.
I've heard of it before, but not in the modern era. Not in the United States, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's happened like in other countries. We did
Yeah.
do a show a long time ago about people that were buried alive and like waking waking. What is it called? Waking mortuaries or
Yeah.
whatever waiting mortuaries. That's what they're called. Where they did that like in Germany or Eastern Europe or something like that. Like
The thing
a long
that
time
tripped
ago.
me out is when Anne Heche, they got her fucking she's running away in that car, running into shit, going crazy. Car fucking wrecks, catches on fire. They pull her out of there dead. Cover her up, put her on the fucking gurney, and she jumps out of the body bag, and they stuff her back in. That was the weirdest thing, man. And
I don't remember hearing about that.
Oh no, I got
No,
on
no,
video.
you're dead. You just get
Yeah, they stuffed her back in.
there. Oh my god.
But they said no, she was dead. I didn't believe it though, and I
I
watched
mean-
it over and over again. You can see it. Anne Heche supposedly dead, jumping up out of the body bag and fighting with them, and then they put her back into the fucking gurney and covered her back up.
You settle down, dead person.
Yeah,
that's
they were saying no, she was dead.
that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah, you want me to show up? Find it for you?
Nah, it's all right. We can watch it later.
It's fucking bizarre. But they said she was dead, and I don't know how. I've never heard of a dead body jumping up,
I mean, I've
pulling the
heard of
things
them.
out of the way, and then trying
Yeah,
to
I've
push
heard
people.
of them sitting up.
She sat up, but
I've heard of them sitting up,
she sat up.
and they're dead.
They pulled her out of the burning car. They said she's dead. They threw her into a fucking body bag, and as they were zipping it up, she fucking sat up and tried to fight it. They pushed her back in there and fucking covered her ass up and put her in the fucking in the ambulance.
I know that's terrible. I don't know why I'm laughing at it.
And people were like, but she was alive, and they said no. The paramedics said she was dead. She was dead.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she was dying still,
yeah.
but they didn't want to admit that. No, she jumped out of that bitch and tried to fight her way off that fucking gurney.
Yikes.
It was spooky, and her hair was all burnt off. It looked like.
It's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's like we were watching some more of those depressing true crime shows last night. Well, I was watching them because I can't get enough of that stuff. And there was one show on there. There was one episode. I've been watching Evil Lives Here, Shadows of Death, or whatever it's called. I think it's on HBO Max, I want to say. And the one that they did, it just reminded me of that.
Yeah. Phantom says this is what Phantom said. Says, I want to see that. Never heard of it. He went back and looked. He goes, she didn't look dead on the film. No,
Yeah.
she didn't look dead. But on the news, they said no, she was dead. I don't believe she was dead. She was fighting those dudes.
I mean, that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the case that they did, it happened, I guess, like back in the 80s or... no, I think it was like the early 90s. And this guy, they caught him later. But he just came into this like place of business and with a gun and forced it was a mom and her daughter were there. They were the only people. And the daughter was 11. Now the mom, she got raped and murdered. And then the little girl, the dude like tied her to a chair and like stuffed her in a bathroom. And he beat the crap out of her. He pistol whipped her.
Yeah.
And I think that he thought
bad.
she was dead
Yeah.
because he did it one time. And then like when she was kind of struggling and stuff, he came back later after he'd killed her mom and did it again. And then he fled. And when the cops got there,
Yeah.
they were like, because they had the cop that found the scene, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, this woman was there. The woman was dead. I mean, she'd obviously been raped and murdered. And then they went in the bathroom And they had a picture, like, they said the little girl was just laying there and her head was all fucked up and everything like that. And he's like, and I was going to take
Her head
a
is black
picture,
from dried
and it's just
blood.
black from, like, dried blood.
Yeah.
He's like, and I was going to take a picture, and it's like she turned and looked at me.
Yeah.
And they kept showing the picture, and it's super freaky.
Yeah. He goes,
And
"We got
she
a live
lived.
one."
She was on the show.
Yeah, she lived.
And she still, and she looks normal. Like, she's still got, like, fucking scars, like a scar right here, but
he had
that's
her
about
tied
it.
up to a chair that he moved into the bathroom and tied her up using electrical cable, it looked like.
Or like a phone cord
Like
or
a phone
something,
cord,
like
yeah.
one of those, like, long phone cords from back in the day.
And she was in there for 12 hours, but she didn't seem to know it.
No, she didn't know.
She didn't
I mean,
know-
her head was all fucked
She
up.
must have been in and out of consciousness a lot.
Because they showed some of the surgery photos,
Yeah.
too, and, like, her
Yeah,
skull
she had a
was
bad
all...
scar.
Her skull was all busted up.
Yeah, he tied her up, put her into the bathroom, and then went out and raped and killed the mom. And then came back in there to kill her. And she goes, "Don't hurt my mom." He said, "I'm not going to hurt your mom, but I'm going to hurt you." And he started beating her on the head with a pistol. He thought he killed her.
Yeah.
And then he went back, maybe I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he raped and killed the mom after that. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
But he was getting ready to leave, and she heard her call for her mom, and he went back in there and tried to strangle her, and he left her for dead.
Like,
but
unconscious,
But she
yeah.
came back out alive. It's like I was saying earlier.
When the guy was taking a picture of her, like,
Yeah.
the cop came and was taking a picture, and she turned and looked at him, and he freaked the fuck out
Yeah.
because he thought she was
On a
dead.
show just a couple days ago, I was saying that most people have no idea how long it takes to actually strangle a person. It takes a long time to be sure, like 15, 20 minutes. You can strangle someone to unconsciousness and then hold on for another 5 minutes, and the heart could be, you could feel like the pulse go away, and you could let go, come back a couple of minutes later sometime, and their heart's beating again. They're starting to come back. You know, they're not going to regain consciousness for a long time, but there have been people that have come back a long time after they've been strangled. That's why when they would hang people, like at the gallows, they let them drop to break their neck. There was no coming back from that. And they don't really suffocate to death usually when they did that. It broke their neck and it knocked them out. It basically decapitated them because it breaks the vertebrae apart and snaps the spinal cord most of the time. So you're paralyzed from the neck down and probably knocked out. I don't think you're conscious. So it's not really death by strangulation if you die at the gallows. Not the American way of the Old West, because they were to drop you. There was even they had a formula for how long the rope had to be, how much slack had to be in it, how far a person had to drop for the amount of weight that person weighed. Because if they dropped them too far, they weighed too much, you could pull the head off. They knew exactly.
I mean, at least you could be sure they were dead then.
How much slack had to be in the rope for any given weight to break the neck, but not decapitate you. Now the old British way of doing it, back in the 1700s, 1600s, you were hanged by the neck until you were dead. That was suffocation. They didn't drop you. They'd probably have you on a chair or a stool or something, and then kick it out from underneath you, and you didn't really fall that far. It would just tighten.
And
That's different.
And that takes a while.
That takes a long time. Now the Germans, during World War II, certain SS security divisions and certain army divisions that had orders to execute partisans, which is like that's what they or commissars, which are commie leaders and fucking terrorists. That's what they would hang them sometimes with malice, depending on what they were, and that was by piano wire, because it was real painful, and it was just hanging by the neck until you're dead with a piano wire, small gauge. Pretty mean, but they wanted to make sure that was not a comfortable way to go. You'd be dancing around.
There was a Dario Argento movie where the killer had this little instrument that had like a piano wire loop.
Yeah.
And put it around somebody's neck and then chunk, 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 until it pulled their head off.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that. Well, because like I said, it's decapitation has always like freaked me out a lot. So I'm always going to remember it if it's like in a movie or something.
Yeah. There's a lot more modern ways that that are out there. You know, we've talked about so much shit over the show, and I'm always saying, well, I don't want to give anybody ideas, but fucking crazy motherfuckers that fantasize about this shit already know.
They already have those ideas.
Because they've already have those ideas. A very lethal weapon that's out there is the zip tie. The large zip tie, the very large zip tie that can go over a head. You can load that up and have it in a ring and walk up behind somebody and lift it over their fucking back of their head and like that, and it'll tighten right up, and they'll fight all day to try to get that thing off. They won't be able to get it off. They'll die because it's too strong. All right, so that's out there. Evidently, that's been used in a lot of Central American gangs, you know, Mexican mob.
Well, that's very cost-effective.
Real cheap, real cost-effective.
Sure.
And if you're found with it, it's not a weapon, and it's silent. And it's usually the dude creeps up on you. He's an assassin, and you're kind of in private, maybe taking a piss somewhere behind the back of a damn club or something, and you're not really expecting anybody to hurt you. You just like that, and then just continue walking, or watch him, make sure nobody helps him.
Now I'm like going to be paranoid about that.
Yeah.
Great. Not that anybody wanted to kill me for anything, as far as I know. Yeah, we're talking about strangulation. Lars says, in Columbo, it takes 5 seconds. Yeah, I kind of feel like in a lot of TV... Well, and I think newer movies are better about this, but on old movies and TV shows, like crime shows and stuff like that, it would always, like, all those old cop shows from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it was just kind of like you strangle somebody, like, it takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You stab somebody one time with this
die.
little bitty knife and they just fall over dead. It's
yeah,
like,
in fucking
that's not how that
James
works.
Bond, somebody throws a fucking throwing knife dagger and it hits them right here and they die instantly. Stopping power like a 44 Magnum. No, doesn't.
That wouldn't even...
No, wouldn't do anything. You'd pull that out and go, man, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah. The, if you look at crime scene photographs and, you know, the reports of what would happen at a crime scene, you'd say, yeah, the victim was stabbed 39, 42 times, 45 times. Well, you can also watch videos or hear security footage of somebody being stabbed. It takes 45 times, 49. You're there all day long fucking stabbing this person and they're screaming the whole time.
Well, yeah, because that shit hurts.
Saw some security footage of a fucking big jacked dude from fucking Turkey walk in on his wife who was leaving him. She's at a fucking checkout counter, working at a store, checking people out. He walks up, says something to her, and she's like, didn't really want to talk to him, and he jumps over the counter and stabs her on security. He stabs her about 40 times, and she screams the whole time, and not a single fucking man helped him. Nobody helped. They all just ran. Not a man among them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think at least somebody would jump in there and try to help her.
Yeah, no, not in the Middle East. They were like, oh, they must be married. You know.
Well, she must have done something. She must
She
have
did
had
something
that
wrong.
coming.
I don't want to get involved between a married couple. Man, I'd run up and fucking smack that dude in the back of the head with a fucking fire extinguisher or something. I'd have killed that dude.
I mean, yeah.
And here in the U.S., you'll walk because it's justifiable homicide. It's called homicide in defense of others. And I'm in a state where fucking if somebody grabs your car door, you can kill them. So it's called home invasion. Home invasion and car invasion.
You were invading my car.
I've seen all kinds of fucking weird shit here in Florida from some of the local cop body cams. We have guys here. Central Florida has always been about half kind of South and Central America, and this is, you know, kind of a tropical area, you know, Cuba. And they've been here forever. This was part of the Spanish Empire before there was ever a United States. Okay. But you have some people that are recently arriving from Central America. I grew up in Brazil, so I know Central and South American culture real well. I speak Portuguese. And I love Central and South American cultures. But the guys that come here are just not prepared to deal with American law, because South and Central American law is very kind of, it's Latin. And there's a lot of Catholicism kind of interwoven with their laws, and it's kind of an honor-based culture that's kind of about fairness and shit. So they kind of have this thing of, well, these cops can't hurt me because I don't have a gun. Or I have a gun, but they can't shoot me because I haven't hurt anybody yet. You can't, in South and Central America, that may be true, okay? Where a cop could get in a lot of trouble for killing you before you hurt anybody else. It's just ridiculous, you know. Well, there was one just a couple days ago. I believe the guy was from Central America. He's taken 2 captives in a bank, hostages. And he's trying to negotiate with the hostage negotiator, and he thinks he's going to go. The sniper took a fucking suppressed 300 blackout AR-15 and shoots it through at 25 meters. No, not even at 15 meters. Shoots it through a fucking computer monitor and right in between his fucking forehead, right here, at about 15 meters. And his head just fucking vaporized. It's awesome. It's a beautiful video when you see it. It fucking, in slow motion, you see the eyes separate a little bit and fucking shit just blowing out the back of his head. He had no idea because in most American states, if you take hostages, that's it. You're dead man. Those hostage negotiator, he's just there as a distraction. They're going to kill you as soon as they get a clear shot. All right, so it's just a lot of culture clash. Seeing Central American guys rushing the cops with fists. I'm going to fight you. And the cops just, he just dies in a hail of gunfire.
They're just going to shoot
you.
Yeah.
Because this is not Nicaragua, all right? You run at them cops like you're going to fucking beat them up. You'll have 7 of them just fucking shoot 20 rounds each. And you just wither up and just hit the ground like a sack of shit. You know, they don't care. They think that's funny. There's different laws here.
We were talking about people popping back up after they died. David says, we have plenty of people spike back after they're declared dead. Okay. We had a dude gasp up a minute later.
Just came back.
Yeah. So I get, like I said, I know, like, intellectually I know that, but it would still freak me out. I guess you get used to it.
Look at that Anne Heche video. She jumps up out of the body bag, and they fight her to get her back in the body bag. It's the damnedest thing I've ever fucking seen. You'd think that they'd immediately start pulling her out of the body bag and trying to revive her. They stuff her back in the body bag.
No, you're dead now.
You're dead. Off. You're dead. We declared you dead. You get the fuck back in that damn bag.
Oh my god. So weird. Well, like I said, they might see it all the time. Yeah. They're just like, she's doing that shit. We know, but they do that sometimes. Tammy says, just like the cowboy movies, a guy gets an arrow in the back and drops dead. Yeah, no. It's like that would absolutely not, unless it went like literally right into your heart or right into your brain. I don't think that's going to do much.
It takes a lot of hits from arrows and a lot of time to bleed out.
Like it might fuck you up and stuff, but it's not going to kill you, and especially not immediately. I always that's the thing though, it's like I always feel like, especially all these murderers that kill their victims by stabbing, I know it's like a thing where it's almost like a fetishistic kind of thing. Yeah. Because man, if you're hoping to get away with stuff, there's way less messy way, because you got to stab people a lot of times. A lot of times. All right, I have to.
Mr. Nephilim knows 300 blackout.
All right,
I got a 300 blackout upper. I got a 300 blackout upper I just built a couple months back. I haven't even taken it to the range to zero it yet. I don't even have any 300 ammo. That's just expensive, man. It's like almost like $1 a round now. But it's I think it's 6.5 inch barrel with I got a free float. I think it's 6.5 inches. I ought to go get it. And I just put fucking iron sights on it. I don't even have and a free float handguard on it. It's a pistol length, and I had a fucking spare upper receiver without a barrel or anything, and I saw that one of those fucking companies, I forgot which one it was, might have been Optics Planet. They had a fucking, I think it's a 7.5 inch 300 blackout barrel with a very short free float handguard. I think I got both of them for $45, and I said, man, I ought to fucking make a 300 blackout. And it's like the barrel was like fucking like Diamondback. It was like, you know, one of the bottom of the barrel AR-15. But they said that actually a lot of that Diamondback shit, I think it's Diamondback, said a lot of stuff is good enough. It's not like I'm gonna shoot 100,000 rounds or anything. But it had a
fucking, you got a threaded barrel on there. I think I have a regular kind of A2 style 30 caliber flash hider on the end of it. But I could put anything I wanted on there if I wanted to put a can or anything. But I never had a 300 blackout. Never had a need for it. But it is an interesting cartridge, you know. It's a lot like 76239, which I got those. I got a custom fucking AMD 65 that's fucking wicked. That's it's got a Zukov front end on it and a fucking AK moderator. It's still got that AMD fucking side folder. But I was gonna fucking, there's an adapter to pull that off to put a fucking rail, or what do you call that shit? Different attachment on there so you could put like a SIG side folder on it. I'm just fucking around with AKs. I got that fucking Texas Arms fucking receiver cover that's real solid, that has pick rail going all the way down it, with a fucking peep sight in the rear to get maximum fucking sight radius. Alright, that's enough of guns.
Yeah, Larry says, me nodding my head, absolutely wasted, knowing nothing about guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Building guns is funner. It's just as fun as shooting them. Making custom stuff.
Well, I kind of feel like that's true of anything, really. It's always fun kind of making your own shit.
There's a good range out here where you can get a 300-meter shot. I'm going to take Jen to it. Now that we got that big car, I can load everything up in that fucking truck.
We have the big pimp car.
Got that big pimp car and show up in style. We'll have a big shooting day.
We still haven't used that pimp car for
that, yeah.
For any intended purpose.
Yeah. I got a Mercury Grand Marquis. It's a 99. It looks brand new.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It only had 100,000 miles on it. I got it for 3,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 3,000 plus I gave him my
car,
my $1,000, my old shitty car.
What, it was supposed to be $4,000.
Yeah.
Put in a new headliner. The paint's fucking great. New upper intake manifold. Fucking plugs. Fucking coils. Had to bypass the radiator core because heater core, because the heater core was leaking. I could smell coolant in the car. I'll fix that, but you got to pull the dashboard. I'm not going to do that in the summer. Don't need to. Don't need a heater in the summer. Don't need a heater in the winter.
You don't really need a heater in the winter. We're in Florida.
Bypassed, yeah.
I mean, honestly, even when it's cold out, I don't even like running the heater in the house in the winter.
Well, the thing is, that's good about a heater though is if I ever take it on a trip to go to another state.
Yeah, that's true.
It's good to have it, and it's good to have it to defrost windscreens. Put the heat on, just defrost the windshield. I'll get around to it. When they sold the fucking car to me, I think it had a fucking stop leak in the coolant. And you see, when I flushed the radiator core, it all of a sudden started leaking. So what I did is I flushed out the stop leak. I could probably put stop leak back in it, and it would go away. It's a very, very small leak. But I hate fucking fix it in a can. I hate anything that is, well, I put this special. No, that's not the real way you're supposed to do it.
Well, that's like the lazy, cheap way. Like if you don't really want to fuck with it.
And a heater core is only $40. They made 1 million of them. The thing is, you got to pull the dash, man. So it's about $400 worth in fucking labor, and I don't want to do it. I'm getting too old and lazy. I got a good local mechanic we speak the same language and everything. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I take it." Yeah, he'll put in my fucking fuel pump. I fucked my old fuel pump up.
Yeah,
I guess. I put the fuel pump in there, but the float to fucking get the fuel. What do you call it? The fuel level. The float came out of the fucking thing. It fell out of it somehow. There must have been a retaining clip that I didn't know about, and the retainer clip fell off, and I didn't put it back in because the float came off.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, so I just replaced the whole thing. I just fucking told the dude to get a whole new fucking cartridge.
Yeah, because like, I mean, Tom does like 95% of the work on the car himself, but if it's something where the car needs to be, put up on a lift or something like that, I mean, obviously you're gonna.
Well, with that particular operation, I didn't want him just to replace the fuel pump. I wanted him to also reattach that sensor, that vacuum sensor that was on top of the tank.
That was on top of the tank
so
that broke off.
He had to drop the tank to fix that sensor.
put a new sensor on there, and put in the new fuel pump. So I didn't have what it took to drop a tank. That's a fucking bitch. And you need very long breakaway bolts, because the bolts are a one-use bolt that retains the straps on the gas tank. I'm talking about work, and that's not men will talk about work all fucking day. This is entertainment here. I'm not talking about work.
Well, I mean, I'm sure men are entertained.
Yeah. All right.
Somebody else asking about the flooding. We didn't really get it up here. Like I said, Florida is big, y'all.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I kind of feel like the flooding was bad in South Florida, but that's like 5 hours from us.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, because when I used to go back and forth to the UK all the time, because they don't know. And if they've never been to Florida, I'm from Daytona Beach originally. And they'd be like, oh, like, we've been to Miami. I'm like, bro, that's like 5 hours away. Like, at that point, I'd never even been there. Yeah. And I grew up my whole entire life. Like, Florida, like, I believe from the, like, what do you call between Florida and Georgia, and then all the way down to Key West, is more than 8 hours. That's, like, more than an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible to, like, grow up in Florida, and there's lots of places I've never been to.
Nephilim says he's got a 300 blackout fucking Daniel Defense SBR. Yeah, Daniel Defense is great company. I can build those myself, though. I built shit out of PSA using FN barrels, fucking with premium bolt carrier groups, chromed or phosphate, whatever. With fucking premium carbine buffers and everything that out of the fucking M4. So you can build stuff as good as the Daniel Defense if you can get the parts. But Daniel Defense is good. You can just off the shelf, you got something that has been checked. You can take that into combat. But look, a lot of these dudes are fucking think that, well, I need my shit mil spec. Most of the time I was using the Colt fucking M16A2. And basically used the A1. I liked them both. I actually preferred the A1 over the A2 for certain the upgraded A1 with the round handguards. The thing is that civilian dudes that didn't go into service don't realize how rough those fucking rifles actually were in service. They were fucking beat the fuck up. Now the armorers kept them running and everything, but military specification wasn't as good as people think it was. You could grab basically a stock PSA Freedom rifle, put a decent buffer in it, even with that fucking that barrel with the fucking melanite, and you could run that in service and not have any fucking problems. Even if it was full auto, even with the full auto lower. The only difference is that over time, a chrome bore would probably last longer in service, because that rifle's meant to exist in an institution and be passed down like a cheap whore from one soldier to the next. And they don't really know how many rounds the things have been fired through the things. They just kind of, well, this rifle's fucking 10 years old. Put a new barrel on it, or throw it away. We'll put another one. A lot of times, if a rifle got real old, they just pass it to rear echelon troops, people that like truck drivers, people that would never use them. But I just hear a lot of shit, civilian guys talking about how important mil-spec was. Mil-spec didn't mean that fucking much if you're actually in the militaries, in like the 506 fucking air assault infantry and shit, because everything they gave us was beat up. My M60s were fucking beat up. M249s fucking barely worked most of the time. They were just rattle traps. The only thing that was reliable was that fucking A2 and the M203 grenade launcher that was underneath it. That was pretty reliable. The rest of this shit is fucking, it was a real iffy. Anything belt fed was iffy.
Joseph asked what a bump stock was.
Bump stock's a fucking thing that you can put on a semi-auto rifle that helps you pull the trigger faster. You can kind of get it to kind of like bump off of your fucking shoulder, so the recoil helps you pull the trigger, and it gives you kind of like a full auto rate of fire. But full auto is full of shit. Full auto doesn't mean anything. On a military specification rifle, like an assault rifle that is select fire, it's semi-auto or it's full auto based on what selection you have it on. The reason why it has a full auto selection on there is because the semi-auto trigger sucks. You can't pull that trigger very fast. It's a hard trigger with a lot of creep, a lot of fucking over travel, and a fucking long reset. So you can't pull it very fast. It's like pop, 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 about like that. When you put it over to full auto, it helps you pull that trigger, but it does it internally through mechanical means. If you have a good trigger on it, like some of these new aftermarket triggers that you could get, drop-in triggers, you can pull that just as fast as a full auto. Just because the reset's very short, trigger doesn't have to move very far, and it's pretty light and nice and crisp. So you can go bah, 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 bah. So you don't need a full auto setting if your trigger's good. But you can't take a nice trigger like that and put that in service. A lot of those troops fucking ain't shit. They can't handle a trigger that well. They would be accidental discharges, and they want to make sure that you pulling that trigger on purpose. Long fucking pull. It's like the trigger is part of the safety. They don't want any accidental pullings of any kind of triggers. Now in good units, SF units, fucking maybe you're gonna go to fucking Delta or something. They've done trigger jobs to all those. It's a nicer trigger. They can put it on, and they used shit on semi. They didn't use, because in my time, they used mostly semi. They had a full auto setting though. They didn't use the A2 lower. They used the A1 kind of trigger mechanism, which is full auto or semi-auto. They didn't have burst. That 3-round burst kind of sucked. But they had a nice semi-auto pull, and they kept it on semi-auto because that was one shot, one kill with them. They go pow, 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 and they would only fire when they were connecting with something because they're alone. Usually in an urban environment, fighting fucking militia, they're trying to get the fuck out of there, Black Hawk Down type shit, and they're trying to conserve ammo because they're by themselves. They're fucking trying to hijack civilian vehicles and drive out and fucking, so they have to know all kinds of stuff. How to pick locks, how to fucking hijack cars, how to do pit maneuvers and crash other people off roads. They have a good training, a very, very training, almost kind of like a lot of law enforcement type stuff mixed in with it. And terrorist. To be a good anti-terrorist, you have to know about terrorism. So they're kind of like terrorists too. They do shit like that.
Yeah, there were some questions at the bottom you might want to
I can't
address.
read.
What? You don't have the...
I have my glasses on. What's that?
Mr. Nephilim said Franklin Armory binary triggers. That's a question.
Nah. Well, they're not legal in the state of Florida. I would only have a binary trigger if I was trying to do something like a civilian version of a fucking squad automatic weapon. Something like... Remember that M16 that fired from an open bolt? It had a longer, heavy barrel on there, and I think it might have. Some of them were actually belt fed, but I think most of them were magazine fed with a drum magazine. Something like that, firing from an open bolt, a binary trigger. That might work real good with something like that. But something that would be fired from a bipod, like a squad automatic weapon, a support weapon. If you couldn't get it full auto, you could do binary. Binary trigger, what he's talking about with people is that when you pull the trigger, it fires a round. When you release the trigger, it fires another round. And it's reset. You pull again, it'll fire another one. You release, it fires another one. So pulling and releasing is pow, pow. And if you work that trigger, if you're good, if it's light and it's a short pull, you can go brrr. Yeah, nice. But the thing is, though, is that doesn't really make much difference in combat. You know, it's just something for suppressive fire. Or if you're firing into a crowd of enemy that are all trying to get in, run from you by escaping through the same door, just aim at the door and start shooting at them. They'll run right into the cone of your fire. You know, there's all kinds of. And I was an expert machine gunner, M60, and fucking M250. It was good with that one too. And there's a bunch of tricks, you know. Plunging fire down into a crowd. They're running from you. You shoot the ones in the front, and everybody in the back sees the guys in the front being shot, so they turn around and run back to you. So now you can shoot the ones in the front again, so you can bounce them backwards and forwards. But you're doing this as a crew, you know. All kinds of weird shit you can do to people because they're trying to live, and it's just they're in a panic, and they're in fight or flight, and you can predict what they're going to do. You know, you have to. It's mass murder, basically. I probably should stop talking about it Because if you're really good at that kind of stuff, everything's about what position you've selected, what weapon it is, and how you're going to deploy it against the enemy inside that kill zone. The kill zone's set up. It's where the shooting's going to happen. Usually you want interlocking fire and rear security. That way nobody can come up behind you. And then you got another shooter fucking maybe on an oblique at a different leg, shooting like on a different leg. That way when they take cover behind something, they're going to expose themselves to the other shooter. And it's all pre-planned. None of this shit's made up on the spot. It's like weeks before the attack, you've selected the area, the time, you know who's going to be there, and you're going to fucking rehearse getting there, getting out of there. Each position you're going to fire from, you're going to go back there and look at it. It's called doing a reconnaissance. And you're going to see if you need to change your tactics or your equipment based upon it. You know, we got there, that window isn't very high. Maybe we should take something to set the gun up on, you know, set the tripod up on it. You know, there's all different things, you know, that you have to know. And then you have to have communication, because you're not going to be together. The teams aren't going to be together, so you have to have a way to signal one another. If you don't have radios, you're going to have to use flares or both. Smoke, colored smoke works too.
Well, Hello There says, I saw the Bonnie and Clyde death car at the Ronald Reagan Library when they had the FBI exhibit. I think I've seen that too. I think it toured around.
Get shot the fuck up with 30
Did we do a show about Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah, we did a show on.
I thought we did. I mean,
Frank Hammerin and his team killed him.
Yeah.
Using fucking BARs and fucking Thompson submachine guns. But I think it was, and those 35 Winchester rifles.
I'm fascinated by killer couples.
Yeah.
That dynamic just kind
that
of.
car was fucking Swiss cheese when they were done with it.
It was, yeah. Phantom says, in Jenny and Tom's opinion, what film has the best music soundtrack? Now, are we talking like soundtrack is in songs that are in it, or soundtrack is in score? Because those are two different things.
Yeah, and also different kind of movies have different kind of scores. Fucking, I love fucking the score of fucking Fury Road, but that's an action score.
That's a great score.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, weirdly, I don't know why, this was the first thing I thought of, I think, because when we were at the club, we were, you know, at the 80s night last Saturday, and they played a song by Sparks, and I was like, oh, yeah, and it reminded me of that song, Eaten by the Monster of Love, which was on the Valley Girl soundtrack, which, interestingly, was never got an official release, even though every single song on it is fucking awesome. Somebody made an unauthorized one, but that has a great soundtrack. A lot of good songs on that. Trying to think of like another one that had like a lot of really good songs. I'm kind of gonna like anyone. Man, I did a review on my little movie or my Flickers of Fear series, and it was like kind of a shitty ass movie. I can't remember the name of it now. But man, did it have like a really good fucking soundtrack. And I think I said in the review, I was like, this is probably like the only reason to watch it, because it had like, shit, man, I don't even remember what all was on there, but it was like fucking, it was really good. It was like some kind of like Richard Hell and like all this other kind of stuff on it, and I was like, man, this soundtrack is like way too cool for this shitty ass movie. But yeah, so that was a good one too, but I can't remember what fucking movie it was. It was the one that I, you know, if you saw the review, I did it like a couple months back.
Oh, they were asking about the bump stock because the Supreme Court bump stock ruling came down. I don't know what the ruling was. I really don't give a shit one way or the other. I think bump stocks are goofy. And if you're a good shooter and you got a good setup on any rifle, you don't need anything like that. But, you know, it's just more of a toy. When you look at a bump stock, they're fucking goofy. That's not something you would take into combat. Kind of, that's cheesy looking shit. Most of them real cheap. More like a toy, you know. People that have never fired anything full auto, they'll pick that up and they'll have fun with it. But that's not really the way full auto is. Real full auto is a lot better, you know. But like I said, most weapons are only full auto because they have a shitty trigger. Belt-fed weapons are totally shitty trigger. And most assault rifles that are in service just got a shitty trigger. So you can't pull it very fast anyway. So they just have a selection on there to mechanically aid you by internally pulling the trigger for you. As long as the trigger's held to the rear, it pulls the trigger when the fucking bolt carrier group locks up into battery and it can safely fire. It'll pull the trigger for you internally. That's all it is. It looks cool on TV and in movies, so people want to, I want to shoot that. Yeah, it's fun to shoot, but it gets old real quick. You're like, okay, that's all it is.
CB says, idea for a movie review, Twin Town from 1997. I kind of remember that movie. I think I watched it. Yeah, he said it was funny as hell. I remember it being really good. So, yeah, we might get around to that one of these days. I've been wanting to do... they added a couple on either HBO Max or Amazon Prime. They added Manhunter, the original Hannibal Lecter movie. And so I've been wanting to do that because I've been wanting to rewatch it. And they also added Run Lola Run, which I've been wanting to rewatch that and review that as well because we haven't done either one of those. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes if something else comes up. Let me see. What else?
Okay, they said that it was unconstitutional to ban them because right, because it's not the same as a machine gun. So yeah, it wouldn't. But like I said, it's a constant thing. There's a bunch of shit that really they have to fucking knock out of there. It doesn't make any sense. Rules to problems that don't exist anymore. And a lot of people just don't have any education about firearms or anything else. The ATF has this law that they constantly fuck with people about. It's fucking what's the name of that shit? Anyway, it's shit about short-barreled rifles and suppressors. There's no reason why a rifle can't have a barrel shorter than 16 inches. If a rifle had a 7-inch barrel, that still wouldn't make it a pistol. So they have to make sure that there's a definition, that there's a true definition between a rifle and a pistol. And that's the problem, okay? There's no reason why a rifle can't have a short barrel like 10 inches. That's not going to increase crime or anything like that. And then another thing is suppressors. Civilians know them as silencers. They do not hide the fact that shots have been fired. They reduce the sound of the shot, but it's not that much, and it doesn't affect crime. The reason why they made suppressors a controlled item is because poachers were using them back in the fucking Depression, and the game wardens had a hard time finding out who was poaching rabbit and deer. That situation doesn't exist anymore. There's no reason why you cannot have a sound suppressor on a 9mm pistol, because it just suppresses it down to the level of what a 22 sounds like. It doesn't make it silent. Are you going to say that a 22 pistol is a silencer? It's not. It still sounds like a 22. None of them make it the weapon silent. You can put a silencer on an M16. It's loud as fuck. It's louder than a 9mm. It's louder than your average rifle. But it's easier on you shooting it. You don't quite need as much hearing protection. And it may a suppressed automatic weapon, semi-auto or full auto, makes it more of a pussycat to shoot. It's nice. I've shot them. They're nice and smooth and fun to shoot. And in Europe, they make you have a suppressor in certain countries. If you have a rifle, it has to have a suppressor on it because they don't want the noise pollution, which that makes sense. But then forcing you to have it, that's dumb too. It should. But all that fucking suppressor shit should go, and the short-barreled rifle thing should go. That's unconstitutional, and it's just unnecessary, and it wouldn't affect crime. They just want their money. They want their $200 tax stamp. That's all it is. Fuck them.
Oracle says Run Lola Run is the best video game movie ever. Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of is. I remember seeing it a couple times back in the day, and I really liked it a lot. So I've been, wanting to rewatch it. I think Tom might like it, too, but We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think. I was just thought of another movie that had great fucking music in it, and that was Velvet Goldmine.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that one.
That was right. Wait, have we reviewed Velvet Goldmine?
No, we haven't reviewed it.
Oh, shit. We should do that. I might have it somewhere. I kind of feel like I probably have it. Because I like that they did kind of obviously it's David Bowie and Iggy Pop, but not. So I like that they kind of fictionalized it. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. I love that fucking movie. And I can't believe we haven't reviewed that. We did do 24-Hour Party People, though, right?
I think we did.
The one about Joy Division and Happy Mondays.
We saw it. I don't know if we reviewed it.
I'm pretty sure we reviewed it because that's one of my favorite movies.
It just turned 9.
I know. I can see the clock right there.
Okay, just letting you know.
I can see the clock right in front of my face.
Yeah.
David says, so I've been reading some really good indie horror comics. Have you ever heard Harrow County? I've heard of it, but I haven't read any of it. Yeah, Lovecraftian Southern Gothic with a beautiful watercolor style. I need to get into that because that sounds right up my fucking alley, to be honest. I do review horror books. Like, I try to do one a week, but I don't always have time. You know what I mean? Because I try to do movies, too. You know, so I try to kind of go. And I feel really bad, too, because I wanted to... somebody asked me, like, several weeks ago to get back into doing my night gallery stuff, like, over on my Scare Salon channel. And I was just like, I meant to do it this week, and I just did not have any time. I think what I might do, because I'm going back and forth between night gallery and thriller with Boris Karloff. And what I was doing up to now is that I was doing a video, like, talking about 6 episodes at a time. And I kind of feel like that's getting to be, because that takes a long time. Like, it takes a long time to watch them all and to make notes about everything and film the video. And, like, the video ends up being, like, an hour and a half or something like that. And I was like, maybe I should just do 1 episode at a time. Like, it'll take longer, but maybe I can get them up faster. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I think Thriller is next up on the docket, because I think I did Night Gallery, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I just got one of my clients, who's kind of my main client now, gave me a substantial pay increase, you know, so I would have, like, extended hours, you know what I mean, so I could work on more of their stuff. And so I'm going to be doing, like, more Zoom meetings, not really Zoom, but it's Google Meet, but whatever. But more meetings and, you know, more stuff for them. So I'm going to have probably, like, less time to do videos, but I'm still kind of going to try and do some on the weekends and stuff like that. Let's see. Joseph says, are you familiar with the reference book, Horror, the 100 Best Books, edited by Stephen Jones and Kim Newman? Yeah, that's another one that I've heard of, but I haven't read it. I'm kind of in the middle of reading one. What the hell is the name of it? I found it on my Kindle Unlimited. I think it's called, like, the 100 best horror movies you've never heard of, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that sounds right at my outside. And, you know, I'm kind of a nerd, so I was just kind of like, I've heard of, like, 90% of these, but, you know, I can see how just, like, a casual horror fan has not, because some of them are a little bit obscure. And there were some of them that I had never heard of, so that's fair enough. It's fair enough. But yeah, I don't know, like, I really like, I've been looking for more just books about horror. If you guys have not read, Grady Hendrix did Paperbacks from Hell, and it's, you know, illustrated. It's this gorgeous, like, full color, like, coffee table book. And I actually bought it because it's beautiful. And I love Grady Hendrix, like, he's awesome. But
all right, Neff, let me have a good one, bro.
Aw, see ya. Thank you. But yeah, so he wrote all about the horror paperback boom of, like, the 70s and 80s, like, when all these, like, cheap paperbacks were coming out. And, like, so he's got, like, full color pictures of, like, all the covers in there, and, like, talks about the best ones and stuff like that. And it's, like, it's really, really good. It's really interesting. And he's super funny too. Some of that shit was, like, really good. Like, some of it was, like, just, like, throwaway trash and stuff like that. But you had dudes like Michael McDowell, you know, who wrote a lot of those kind of, like, just quote-unquote throwaway paperbacks. But his shit was, like, really, really good. I've read, like, a bunch of his books, and I've reviewed a bunch of them, too. But he does, like, Southern Gothic type of stuff, too, and they're, like, super weird. And, like, he was the guy, he wrote the original screenplay for Beetlejuice, which was evidently, to start with, was, like, way, way darker. They kind of made it lighter and funnier, but he was, like, the guy that wrote it originally. But his books are really good. Probably my favorite one is The Elementals, but that book is weird as fuck. But I'm super into it. Yeah, Jeff Yarrett said I love Grady Hendrix. Isn't he awesome? Like, I think the only book of his that I have not read yet is How to Sell a Haunted House. But I think I've read all his other ones. And I probably reviewed all his other ones too, I want to say. Maybe not. But all of them are good. I'm still real into that fucking horror store one that looks like an IKEA catalog, because that just, like, makes me so happy. But Phantom says, how far down does Ariel's mouth hole go? Can you even use it?
Yeah, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I mean, we're kind of scared to do it because we don't want to, like, mess it up.
I got this one on the advice of a French porn guy who does videos with dolls and girls, all right? And girls that look like dolls. He said don't use that feature that tears them up.
Yeah.
You know, it's good enough as it is, man. You just jump into shit, pass it around, fucking roll around with it. You know.
I told him, I was like, it's kind of hot watching it.
Yeah.
Watching him do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, it's like you're fucking somebody else, but it's not a real person.
Yeah.
Because that would upset me probably,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Hugo said, Jenny, you should do Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, I plan to at some point. And Fear Itself. I think I already did Fear Itself, but I don't know. Go over to... I've done so much stuff I can't even remember. But, like, yeah, go over to Scare Salon and see, because I think that was the one that was it on Sci-Fi, or... I don't even remember what it was on. Or Chiller, or whatever that channel used to be. I'm pretty sure I did Fear Itself. David says, did you know the Halloween franchise had 3 paperback horror books for young adults between the first and second film? I had heard that. I haven't read them. That's kind of the funny thing is, like, in the 80s, like, a lot of those movies, and I'm thinking particularly of, like, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, they absolutely had toys and shit like that was marketed to children. Even though, I mean, that movie's not really for kids. I watched it when I was
the aftermarket
kind of a kid, but you know what I mean?
Didn't give a
and
shit.
I turned out all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I was only 12 when that first movie came out. Was I 12? Yeah, I guess I was 12 years old when the first movie came out. Actually, I remember my mom dropping me and my younger brother off at the theater when Nightmare on Elm Street 5 came out. Was it 5? I guess so. Like, the theater did a whole night thing of, like, showing all of the previous Nightmare on Elm Street movies and then showing the new one. And it was, like, an all-night... It was, like, super awesome. But obviously we were too young, so my mom had to pay for us to get, like, had to, like, say it was okay for us to go in. But, yeah, me and my little brother went. It was super fun. Let's see. High Desert said, have you read Scarfolk? It's British. I have not. But yeah, if you have any good book, because I'm always looking for, especially if it's, you know, free to read with Kindle Unlimited, because I scroll through there a lot of times, and usually I just pick stuff at random, and most of the time, it's good. It's like, you know, it's pretty solid. Every now and then I find one that's like super, super awesome. Yeah, every now and then I find one that I'm just like, I didn't really care for that, or I couldn't get into it, but that's pretty rare. Most of them are pretty entertaining.
Okay, I want to leave at 8:15. And there's
9:15.
Should be 9:15. And there's shit I gotta do, and I gotta get you hooked up too. So maybe it's a good time to shut it down.
You think?
Yeah, because I want to be out of here by about 9:15. Because I probably have to get some gasoline.
Okay.
Out here too. But I may not wear this shirt. I'm gonna make sure to do my little final touch-ups, and then I gotta get you ready.
Well, all I got to do is put my shoes on.
Yeah, and tighten your corsets on.
Well, yeah, that's about
And
it. So that'll only take a minute.
All right. Okay. I'm saying we got about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, Oscar said, have I read The Reddening? No, I haven't read it yet, but it's on my list, though. Because that's Adam Neville, right? And I've read, like, a couple of his other books. So I will eventually get around. Yeah, David said Dr. Wolfula read the first book as an audiobook. I love Dr. Wolfula. He's so fucking funny. The series peaked at Dream Warriors. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, the first one is still the best one. Dream Warriors was pretty kick-ass. But after that, like I said, it got funny. And it's just, I don't hate horror comedy, but it's hard to do right. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like they wanted to make Freddy... Like, Freddy was scary in the first movie. But then they were just, like, making him a comedian. And while I did like some of the creative kills and stuff, I'm like, you know, that's cool. I see what you did there. But it's just like, it's not scary. It's not, I don't know. Like when I watch horror movies, I want like something fucking traumatizing, man. I don't necessarily want it to be funny. But I do like it funny sometimes, but not usually. It's not usually what I pick. All right, so Tom seems to be getting antsy.
Yeah, we're going to have to shut it down.
So I guess we got to go because we're going out this evening. It's the monthly goth night, Memento Mori. So we're going to that. Oscar also says, read Those Across the River by Christopher Buehlman. Werewolf books get no love. Yeah, I kind of feel like there's really not. I've read a couple that I liked. What was that one? What was it called? Sharp Teeth or something? It was in verse, which sounds like kind of pretentious, but actually it was like really good. But yeah, so okay, I guess we're going to wrap it up. We'll be back Monday night with a movie review. Not sure what movie we're going to do yet. We'll figure something out over the weekend. And, so we'll be back at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Monday night with a movie review. So hopefully you guys can join us for that. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by and hanging out with us this evening. Thank you for your super chats. And we will see you guys again on Monday night. Good night.